Hello there. We do have other things going on Sun and Moon. As you can see, there's pictures there taken by people recording what's going on. But there's a few of Wilson. Every day Wilson takes the time to explain things to us. He's very interested in the pyramid time. And in here he calls it, he calls it old or sort of like insignificant technology, but it wasn't. It was technology we need to find out about, because they're lying to us and hiding all that technology. The ancient technology, the ancient everything has been withheld from us, and I just think here that Wilson basically is a bit shocked that, you know, you get all this information, everybody sort of says they've woken up and realises that there's a big lie and that other things are there. But in general terms, even though you're given this new information and new understanding, which is very spiritual, everybody is still caught in this system, this mind control, this subversion which you've been put into.
I just wanted to make a quick video because I get the point. You know, people don't understand. When I say things, it's hard to follow because people think that they learn a new language. If your first language, whatever it may be, let's say for instance English, you're not learning a new language. You're learning to translate that language into your language so that you can perceive it as you perceive things in your language. So if you speak English and you learn to, well, French is probably the closest one. If you learn to speak French, then you're mostly translating the things that you don't understand so that they make sense to you in that world. French is probably the closest one that you're going to get without having to make too many translations. Now, if you go to like Russian or Latin, even Latin being older, the words are, it's quite a bit different. Not yes and no, because anyway, it doesn't matter. So when you're trying to figure out things in this world, you're basically translating it to what you already know. And if what you already know is the life that you live in, then you're not going to actually change anything. You're going to assimilate whatever new information comes in into the program that you're in. So you, me, we are part of the program. And I'm not talking like the Matrix kind of, you know, everything is a simulation kind of, you know, nonsense crap. Like, people have this way of not understanding the difference between the digital, which are lights, you know, to the real, which are tangible objects and things. So the problem is this translation, and the more I look into it, the more I see that the only way everybody else is going to understand this is if everybody else was doing it. It doesn't matter what you learn about flat Earth. Everything you do is going to assimilate into what this culture already is. And we live in a disposable age where everything is valued by measurement. You know, your money is a measurement of your goods and services and quality. Your body is a measurement of molecules, atoms, and whatever. Your society is measured by how many people that are in it. So, like, everything we do now is, even the people who say, stuff against science, they're being scientific anyway. Like, everything you do is measured in the same way. How much belief you have in something, how much faith you have in God, how you measure that by the book that you read, and it tells you, in your specific culture, how you are right, and you're right in the center of the world, and this means so much. And when things start fitting with that roadmap that's already been written for as long as we've known that it's been written, and you have to understand these things were written and put down 1,000 years. 1,000 years to sit down and program yourself with the same information over and over and over and over and over again. And then, we go back in time and we're like, hey, and I don't mean that literally, the earth is flat, and oh yeah, they took that book of Enoch out. But they took the book of Enoch out because they didn't want people in the religious community reading the book of Enoch, because obviously if they're going to start saying that the world is not a flat and fixed object, that the very powerful doctrination of the Bible, and I hate to use that word because people talk about brainwashing like they have a clue. I learned to play guitar, so I'm brainwashing myself into remembering notes and stuff. Right in the Bible it says to instill my information, to instill my knowledge onto you. The word instill means brainwashing. If you look it up in the dictionary, you'll find it. To instill my knowledge onto you, to instill what I know onto you. And it's just the way words are written and things are said. And I don't think anybody's going to get it because it doesn't fit the roadmap of what it is that you know now. You can't translate it in another way. I get a little metaphysical with everybody when I spend too much time on these subjects, and there's a problem there for me because I'm no longer analyzing the information, I'm taking it in a different context. I don't believe in all this other nonsense, and to me, God is a real tangible thing, and that's just a word. God isn't a man, God isn't a woman. The idea of gender is related to us as human beings, and we don't get to know the outside of that. I think all these things are nonsense, simply because it's not going to matter what it is that anybody does, no matter how many billboards are put up, no matter who goes in and talks to Parliament. You're getting validation from the same people who are programmed just like you. There's no dark entities sitting behind anything, because the programming has been going on so long that the machinations of the programming work so well it doesn't need any kind of an intention to keep it going. The idea is solid and fixed in the human psyche. So I'm sorry, but none of this is going to change anything. The best description I can give is if you're told, sitting in your room since you're an infant, that your room is blue and it was really red, and then somebody comes along and says, it's a really nice red room, and no, it's blue. Say, no, this is red. It doesn't change the room at all. Your mind then takes in this new information, and you still do in that room the same things you did your entire life. It doesn't change. Now you're just not calling it you're not calling it that color anymore, you're calling it this new color, and everything is exactly the same. Everybody's talking about money. Everybody goes on, it's funny how people can say that they've woken up, that they understand things, yet they don't see that this monetary system ownership system and these written documents, written papers, all written things, all of them. Not just one of them, all of them, no matter how far back you go, are all wrong. They are wrong. We are self-prophesizing. No matter how much you go through the Bible, it doesn't say anything about cell phones. It doesn't say anything about explosives. And you can take those words and you can translate them however you want. You can say that fornication is somebody who has too much sex, or you can say it's somebody who has sex. You can say that drunkard is a person who drinks alcohol or drinks too much alcohol. You can say that the ocean is a vast amount of people and not the actual ocean. You can say anything you like. You can retranslate it because the words are thought of in measurements. And I know this because doing Bible study with one of the priests, he was there telling me about when Jesus approached the people. He used the term ocean or sea, stood before the sea, and he was telling me that this meant he was talking to people. And I was like, why would they say that and not just say the people or anything? Maybe they didn't have the word people. You know, who knows? Whatever the reason, you can translate everything to fit the way that you think very easily, and it will not change the machinations of where you're living. Your environment is suited because this is the way we wanted it. NASA is there because of the same system that everybody's using to describe flat Earth. Right? So if you believe, oh, NASA made a video of this and CGI that, what's everybody talking to? Everybody's talking to their devices and doing the exact same thing. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. The truth isn't going to, get rid of the monetary system and make people free to choose. Because people start thinking, well, where's the pros and cons? Well, you bring out the pros and cons. This is proven that there's always going to be assholes opposing you. And if there's always going to be assholes opposing you, then there's always going to be people who are going to be doing bad things, or are going to be trying to do bad things. So it's not going to matter either way. Somebody will kill somebody and be like, oh, I wish the police were here. Oh, but we broke down that system. We do our own security in our neighborhood. Oh, so now it's just, public opinion. So, we have the impartial law system. Like, something? I'm not going to spend my life fighting anything. I know what I know. And I really don't care how many people knows it. It's not going to change anything. Everybody's like, this is going to change the world. It's not going to change the world. It's not going to do a damn thing to the world. If everybody assimilates this information, everybody will assimilate it, accept it, and move on, and then still do everything the same way. The exact same way. And nobody will see how I see that this is a problem. We're not going to make anything that's not temporary, disposable, and useless. That thing that we're holding, that I'm holding in my hand right now, that's recording, it's what we call technology. It's a joke. I've said to everybody about the megaliths, about the pyramids, and about how these things work, and people keep coming at me, presenting their information in the exact same way that information is presented. When somebody says atoms and molecules, I'm like, man, you can't see those. And even if you look at them through a microscope, what does it matter? What are you going to do to them? To make them better, change them, or whatever. They knew what they were doing back then. For some reason, we don't. And I'm the only one that thinks that this is a very strange thing. I'm not hearing anybody else talk about it, and no matter how much I talk about it, I can scream it from the top of my lungs, and people are extremely obtuse. I even try and present the information in a bunch of different ways. I tried to slip it in quietly from behind doors, and I was very open about it, all at the same time, and it seems strange to me that this remains a mystery. And it's like, nobody wants to touch that, but like, whatever. So anyway, this isn't a protest of what anybody's doing. I really don't care, everybody go ahead, do what you're doing. But I know that if it doesn't fit the roadmap, 99% of people that will sit down and watch it, if the first 5 minutes of what's being said doesn't fit the roadmap, what it is that you are doing right at this moment, you won't finish watching that. You won't look for truth in anything that doesn't fit the roadmap of what your truth is all about. If you put down the Bible now, in any form or manner, people are like, well, it's still just paper and words. It's paper and ink. And it says right into it, inspired by the Word of God. It never said that it is the Word of God. It is inspired by the Word of God. People can just translate it all however the hell they want. I really don't care who came first or what came first. Now, I was hoping that this would be a real movement, but like, that hopeful side of me is still like a child. There comes a time where you have to set aside childish things. I always thought that that meant like the things that you like doing, but it's not true. It should say you have to set aside childish thoughts. And childish thoughts is believing that everybody is alike. I believe that this is a very, very sad time. It's funny. It's not really funny. It's sad watching people say that they're waking up, and brainwashing is working perfect. You could be completely aware of it. It still works perfect. Because we use it to talk and we use it to communicate. And it is what it is. So, you don't learn things around you, you translate it to what it is that you know in your environment that you know now. You're translating all of this to suit your environment, your habitat. This is our habitat. Those four walls, those corners, it's the first thing children look for. Little babies. That's your habitat. If you were on a big DMT trip right now, this would be the most profound video you've ever seen in your entire life. Because it is key. Real spirituality has nothing to do with any of this crap that we call society, life, reading, and all that other shit. It's just nonsense. you what. Everybody go and start watching primitive technology. I love that they call it primitive technology because the technology we have without electricity would be screwed. And if you knew the primitive technology, you'd be like, I don't care if power goes. Like, I really don't. If everything, like, if we had an EMP right now, I know that I can make shit. I've studied them until I knew them off by heart. They are awesome. That's real. That's real. Anyway, most of want to get this. My friend Matt, my advice to you is stay away from that metaphysical junk. Doesn't matter how molecules and atoms are connected. Be the organism, not the sum of its parts.